Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the third grade concept of representing equivalent fractions. This is standard 3.3F in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 23 off the 2024 release STAAR test, which is a new item type called multiple select. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so let's first figure out how multiple select works. It says we need to select two correct answers. This is a 2-point problem, so 1 point for each correct answer we choose. And if I wanted to pick these first two, you notice that the system will not let me choose a third. I'm clicking them, but it's impossible to choose 3 answers. And if I just want to select one and try to move on, I am going to get a warning message that says you have not answered one or more parts of this question. Press yes to go to the next question. I want to press no to stay on this page. So the system is designed to try to make sure you answer both parts of this question. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. We have a picture of a number line here, and we've got point F, and it represents a fraction. You notice it's between 0 and 1. So which fractions can be represented by point F? Well, one of them is going to be obvious, and one of them is going to be a little bit more difficult. So let's see if we can just name these big chunks right here, right? So how many spaces, equal spaces, are there between 0 and 1? I'll circle them in red. I've got 1, I've got 2, I've got 3. So really, these are thirds. And how we number these thirds are the tick marks. Okay, so this is thirds. So this is 0 thirds. This is my first third, 1 third. This is 2 thirds, this tick mark right here. And this is 1 whole, but I could also call that 3 thirds. And think about it. If you've got a circle and you've got it split up into thirds, and you've got all 3 parts shaded in, that's the whole thing. So 1 is equal to 3 thirds. All right, so 1 third is going to be the easy one. So let's go ahead and just get that one out of the way. The tricky one is, how do we find an equivalent fraction here? Well, there's a few different ways we can do it. I want to do it visually here. So let's go ahead and add that 1 third and clear the board. We can label this as a 1 third, but we need to find an equivalent fraction for that. Well, I want to do it with visuals here. So I want to go ahead and I want to draw another circle. And let's go ahead and make this 1 third. All right, so here's my 1 third. So there's a lot of equivalent fractions. Actually, there's an infinite number of equivalent fractions. And really, since this is a unit fraction, right? So we know that this is a unit fraction because it has a 1 in the numerator. It's 1 part out of 3. So a unit fraction is any fraction that has a 1 in the numerator. Well, when you have a unit fraction like that, we can visualize it, and we can cut each of those pieces into smaller pieces. So what if I were to cut, I'm going to follow this line here. What if I were to cut each of my thirds into a half? So I took each of my thirds into a half. And if you want, you can visualize it with a rectangle right here, right? So I could do this. I can say, here's my 1 third, and you could visualize it just like this. Boom. Well, either way, you'll notice, and let me fill in all of this here. You'll notice on both of those now I've got 2 shaded pieces out of a total of 6. So that is 1 equivalent fraction. I didn't change the amount shaded, I just changed the size of the pieces. And you see that 2/6 is an answer. If you want, you could do that on the number line here. And you can cut each of these pieces in half. And that would have worked. You can take each of those big chunks and just cut them into half. And if you label them, watch, you're going to get 0/6, 1/6. There's my 2/6, and we can just keep going. And if you want, you could try to plot some of the other ones, but these other spaces are going to be a little bit hard because the number line is not broken up into these equivalents, right? This 1/2 is not broken up there. You can definitely say it's not a 2 thirds. And then 2/4 is actually equivalent to 1/2. Both of those are going to land right here where that 3/6 is. So it's not equal. So my other answer is going to be 2/6.